If he just walked and went, if he just said, okay, let me see this tomorrow, then we can say maybe he didn't take it seriously. But you realize that Lot took the word seriously. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah podcast. All through this week, we're looking at various lessons that we can take away from the life of Lot, predominantly around Genesis chapter 19. See, I want you to understand there's a moment where the Lord has seen the wickedness upon Sodom and Gomorrah, and there is a great destruction that's going to come upon this land. But there is Lot and his family who are in the Lord. Basically, if we ever to use the church terminology, they were in the faith, they were in the Lord. And I'm going to look at something very important here, right? This place was known for wickedness. We looked at two different aspects the last two episodes. I really recommend that you go back and check them. But today I want to look at one of the aspects here, that when you look at Lot, right, he has entertained these two guests thinking they were just normal men, but he didn't realize that they were actually angels. And long story made short, when you look at verse 12, the angels talk to Lot. Okay. And the angels are saying to them, get out of this place, your sons in laws, your daughters, and or anyone else, for this place is going to be destroyed completely. For the outcry against this place is so great, he said, it has reached the Lord, and there's going to be a great destruction. I'm just paraphrasing so that you will understand the context of this. So I want you to understand something here, right? When the two men are speaking to Lot, just after there was a commotion where all the wicked men in the city wanted to come and attack the men, and Lot stood up for them. At the same time, there's a little bit of drama that happens. And then the angels are speaking to Lot and saying these things. Okay, I want you to look at Lot's response in verse 14. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it. Okay, we're going to look at the next aspect in the next episode, but I want to focus on one important aspect here, right? Lot is in a very wicked place and he stayed here for a long time, right? To a point where his daughters are marrying men from the same city, because that's how these fiancés are actually in the city. So they've stayed here for quite some time. Now, I want you to just understand something here. We're living in a world where everything is being redefined. We look at how people want to redefine things. This is fine. This is not fine. This is okay. Even if something is an abomination in the sight of God, we want to redefine and say, no, it's okay. Culturally, it is acceptable now. See, we live in a world where sometimes we can be so bombarded with all these new definitions and new standards and new principles that sometimes our conscience can be choked. Sometimes we can lose that sensitivity to discern spirituality, or we can lose the sensitivity to discern the voice of the Lord. But here you see, even though Lot was in a wicked place, even though Lot was in the midst of wickedness, when the angels came and gave a word, the scripture says he rushed. When he received the word, he rushed. I want you to understand the word rushed. See, if somebody is taking a word seriously, they will run, they will rush. If I say, oh, there's a fire there, run, run, run. Or, there's a danger there, run and tell this person, you will run. That so shows that you take this word seriously. That shows that you believe in that word. If he just walked and went, if he just said, okay, let me see this tomorrow, then we can say maybe he didn't take it seriously. But you realize that Lot took the word seriously, which showed that even though Lot was in a wicked place, his spiritual senses were still in place. He was able to discern correctly. He had that spiritual discernment even though he was in the midst of such wickedness. Today, I want to ask you this question. We're in a wicked world. We're in a world where there's so many things that are wrong in the sight of the Lord, but are being defined as everything is okay. You may be in a place where you're feeling like John, everything is being redefined, everything is like acceptable, even though we know that's not the way it's supposed to be. I just feel like blending in. I want to just go with the flow, go with the crowd. I want to keep people happy. I want to do this, I want to do that. But in all of that, don't miss out on being sensitive to the voice of the Spirit. Don't miss out on your spiritual discernment. One of the best lessons to learn from Lot in this sense is that even though he was in the midst of wickedness, he had not lost his sensitivity to the spirit filled word of the Lord. See, I want you to understand there was a moment where I was working in a job that I really loved. And there came a point where every morning I would wake up thinking about the job. Like, I was so excited. I enjoyed the job. I enjoyed the work I had to do. And I also loved the company. The people there were so good. Everything was so good. But in the midst of that, what happened was the ministry kind of took a hit, because the ministry started becoming more like a default thing. Like, oh, I need to post something, just post something. This it went to that mode, like posting some video for the day just to get it done. And I, my spiritual senses started getting choked, but I didn't pay attention at that moment. I was in the midst of that comfort where, oh, I got a good job, I got a good manager, I got good friends at work. I started liking all of the work that I was doing. I was so comfortable in all of that, that the spiritual side of me started getting choked. But sadly, I didn't even pay attention to it. I didn't even realize it. I realized, like, I would wake up in the morning thinking about the work I should do. I would drive back or ride to my office thinking about the friends I'm going to meet, what jokes I'm going to crack. I would think about all of that, but not think about the most important aspect of what the Lord wanted to speak to me. What was God saying to me about the season? What was God warning me about? I didn't pay attention. And in fact, 2 weeks before the major layoff that happened for me there, God showed me in a vision that I was going to lose my job suddenly. But I was so accustomed to this place of, oh, everything is fine. I'm my manager's pet. I have this beautiful job. I have managing 8 projects. I love this company. I love this so much that in the midst of all of that, I did not even realize I had lost that sensitivity to the spirit. When God warned me that I'm going to lose the job, I didn't even realize or didn't pay attention to it, because that's how sometimes we can miss the mark. And then I realized, you look at Lot, even though he was in such a wicked place, he had not lost his sensitivity to the spirit. Whereas I had lost that sensitivity to the spirit. And that was a wake up call for me. Wherever I go, God, I may be in the midst of wickedness, I may be in the midst of a lot of wrongful things around me. See, I'm not saying, you stay away from people, act like, with this holier than thou attitude. I'm not saying that. You blend in, talk to people, be the light in the darkness, all of that is great. But not to the point where you compromise, not to the point where you allow those principles, those opinions, and those advices to choke what God is saying. Because that is the most dangerous place to be. And I challenge you, if you want to take anything away from the life of Lot, this is the lesson. In the midst of the wickedness, don't miss the voice of the Lord guiding you over your life. I really challenge you to leave a comment and share this with someone, and I will see you back next time. God bless you.